Hi everyone, Reverend Sarah Grady from St. Paul's United Church in Paris, Ontario. And I am wondering today if you ever have that moment, because I'm pretty sure everybody has, where you're lying in bed at night and you're all cozy and you're almost asleep, and all of a sudden your brain goes, you forgot something, and you go, For me last night it was, I forgot to finish filming my Tuesday message. I started yesterday, I got distracted by other pieces of work, and then all of a sudden the day was gone, and I was in bed and realized I didn't do anything about it. So this week you're getting your message on a Wednesday. And what I want to talk about this week is something that Pastor Dawn offered to us in her sermon on Sunday this past week, and that is talking about Jesus the teacher. I was so jealous that Dawn got to preach on this passage because I don't know about you, but teachers are some of my favorite people in the whole world. I'm sure when Dawn asked that question or posed that to you, like, think of who the teachers have been in your life. Who has been your favorite teacher? It's one of our questions in our chapter this week. Who has been a favorite teacher of yours and why? And I know I grew up appreciating teachers so much because my own father, by career, is a teacher. And not just by career, I mean, it just is ingrained in who he is to teach. And he's so good at it. He taught high school English. He continues to be a tutor to lots of different youth as they're going through their own high school and university experience. I know my dad was always great to have as a resource when I was doing my undergraduate work as well as my master's studies. Who has been a great teacher for you? When I was in seminary, I had this great professor, Reverend Dr. Rob Fennell, and he's got lots of published work. You can check out some of his stuff, and just a wonderful, wonderful teacher. And he walked in on my first day of Theological Foundations, one of my first classes in seminary, and began the class by simply saying, "What do we know now that we hadn't learned or that we didn't learn from the teachings of Jesus Christ?" I've talked about this before. I know for those of you who followed me for a while have heard me talk about this question that Dr. Fennell posed, because for 2 hours in a class, in an ecumenical class, students who were United Church and Roman Catholic and Anglican, and we had a Universal Unitarian student in there and Baptist, and there was a Church of the Nazarene student, and not a single one of us could come up with an answer that Rob didn't have a counterpoint to about the teachings of Jesus. When we think about what Jesus taught us and why we still follow in the Christian way, why we still follow those teachings today, it's because they're the best example of how we can be in right relationship with one another. You know, Jesus taught about compassion. He taught about loving thy neighbor. He taught about going against bureaucracy and people who only seek to have power but not to have unity in that power, and to share that power to do good and to help others have a better life. He had an answer for everything for us that day, Dr. Fennell. And I wonder for you, what are the lessons? What are the great lessons that you have learned if you are a follower of Jesus Christ? What are the lessons that Jesus taught to you? What are the things that stand out for you? One of my favorite stories in all of the Bible is a moment when Jesus shows his humanity. And it's the passage when Jesus goes into the temple and there's all of the sellers and the buyers, and it's become a marketplace, and he gets so angry with everybody that he flips over a table and yells at them to get out of the house of worship. I guess I learned from that sometimes you got to flip over a few tables to get your point across. I've learned that even Jesus Christ was not perfect, that humanity means that sometimes we're going to get angry and we're going to not show the best sides of ourselves. And an interesting thing for me when I was reflecting on teachers is that even bad teachers, people we would consider not the best teachers. For me, I can think of a few in grade school or high school who I learned from them, or people in my life who taught me a lesson about who I do not want to be. And I wonder for you if you've had that experience. I can remember one school teacher in particular having pretty bigoted views, pretty racist views about the world. I was in middle school at the time, and really found myself searching for answers as to why this woman would be teaching her students such crazy ideals. I mean, they seem to be her own personal views and not based in any fact. And even as a 12-year-old child, I could understand that. And I remember going home to my parents and being very upset about something that she taught us in class. And I think during parent-teacher interviews, my parents might have sorted some things out with this teacher. But it certainly taught me a lesson in who I don't want to be and what I don't want to say and how I don't want to be perceived. And I wonder if you've had that experience as well. We can have people who teach us who we want to be, but we can also have people who teach us who we do not want to be. For me, I made a choice, and that in my life was to follow the ways of Jesus Christ. And I think that for me, it has led me down some pretty amazing pathways and helped me to become a person who seeks deeper understanding at all times in our world, who wants to continue to be taught and learn new things each and every day. I hope that has been the case for you. Let me know who has been a favorite teacher of yours, whether it's somebody who was actually employed as a teacher or somebody in your life who taught you a really valuable lesson, whether that was in the negative or the positive, somebody who taught you something about who you want to be or who you do not want to be. Share your stories, put them in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. And I hope that wherever you are this day, you are safe, you are well, and most of all, I really hope that I get to see you in person again so soon. Talk to you later, friends.